everybody. TorontoUnicorn here, and I'm here with Abby. Hello.
Hi.
And she has her own YouTube channel called Fet Talk. And one of the things that makes her stand out is her love for the smoking fetish, right? You like to have your
Yeah,
cigarettes
yeah.
or weed. What's your smoke of choice?
Cigarettes most of the time.
Okay.
I do, indulge a little bit every now and then,
Yeah,
weed, but yeah,
good.
yeah,
Well,
usually
I'm about to
peanuts.
light up the rest of my joint. Hopefully we can
Okay.
hang out and smoke away because I love to smoke, but I try not to when I normally interview people because it's. I don't know why, because I cough and shit. But I'm like, yeah, no, we'll just hang out and smoke some stuff. So
Sounds good.
I looked at your YouTube channel and you talk about cucking, you talk about non-monogamy and things like that. So what's your specialty? What would I say where is Abby's Fet Talk specialty on your channel?
It kind of started out as a smoking fetish. But then I kind of it kind of went in this whole just kind of fetish as a whole channel. I had people writing in and asking questions about certain things and, how to do this, how to do that, how to get my wife to sleep with another man, and it just kind of went from there. And it's, relationships and just advice. So it's kind of a little bit of everything, but a lot of cuckolding questions I get a lot, and people sharing their stories. I will share stories that people send in to me. So
Well, I don't know that much about cuckolding. Like I do know a little bit. You had one that's like cuckolding versus cheating. I love when people in complex lifestyles like ours break down things that could be confusing in terms of where's the
yeah,
fuzzy boundaries, right? Because
right.
there is people I know that have a kink of walking in on their girlfriend fucking another man. It's a kink, a fetish or whatever you want to call it. So it's like we can't judge it. We can't fetishes I've learned or kinks or whatever, I like to say as long as it's legal, and
Right.
ethical, but can't really understand why it might make somebody happy or whatever. But what I've learned is to not try because you can't always understand why someone would want to take up a certain hobby or like the foot of the body versus, another a boob or something. I remember my psychology classes in university, I studied human sexuality. And
Uh-huh.
man, that was the only class where I was like up front, like teach me, tell me it all. Any little bit of sex I could get out of any part of vanilla mainstream society I wanted, right? I didn't know this
Right.
lifestyle existed back then. And
Mhm.
I remember they did like brain scans of people who were activated with their arousal when they had fetishes and things like that. And it goes to show the arousal is lit up. Like it is not a
Mhm.
big thing. It could be a wire cross. You know how sometimes the light switch over there is supposed to turn on that light you think, but it opens, or the bathroom light. It sometimes the switch and the trigger and the response just might not be as predictable. But yeah, I find them
Right.
interesting. Yeah. But the smoking, I mean, let's just be honest, oral fixation.
Right.
As we lick
I
our
mean, I
lips,
do.
taking in the circular thing into our, like I can make this really sexual.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and that kind of is another thing, like when you said about judging, that was kind of another thing I wanted to do with the channel is I wanted to create a space where you don't have to agree with what I do. You don't have to like what I do. You can have your opinions about what I do, and you are free to express them. Throw them in the comments. I want to hear them. But you have to respect my opinion and point of view just as much as I respect yours. It was kind of like an area where you could talk about these things like grown adults, have a conversation, not a knockdown, drag them out fight over who's right and who's wrong. You know, just respect each other's point of views and opinions on things. Oh, I mean, I've learned so much since I've started this channel. We're at a little bit over 2 years now with it.
Like, what did you
Pardon?
learn? What are some of the things that Abby took home as a, oh, okay, something I didn't know about the world?
Okay, well, gosh, so much, so much. I've learned about a lot of the different fetishes, where they come from, like the psychology of it.
Right.
Um, like with the smoking fetish, it's that oral fixation, it's the Freud thing, the Oedipus complex. Um,
Yeah.
you took psychology class, so you're
Yeah.
probably familiar with that. And a lot of people don't understand why they have, just like the smoking fetish. Um, they don't understand where it came from. And, a lot of people ask that. And it's like, well, did someone, a significant female in your younger years, smoke? Your mom, your aunt, your grandma, your mom's best friend that was always around the house. Um, Typically it kind of starts there, because you associate it with comfort and nurturing and love. And then, it turns into, as your body's changing, and you're starting to feel things. And oh my gosh, now it's a turn on sort of thing. And it just kind of rears its head as a fetish when you're older, when you're an adult. It's kind of crazy, right?
Right. I loved it as a prop in some old movies. I think even Cruella de Vil or somebody, one of those old villains, had that long cigarette thing where, you know,
Yeah, the holder.
yeah, and even now I want to hold her, probably from that scene, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where romanticized,
Mhm.
idolized like people who smoked, like you said, right? Made it someone who is sexy smoking a cigarette. Well, the cigarette's part of the sexy, right? And so
Right.
I know that when I've smoked over like cigarettes, I've smoked over the years on and off. I don't currently smoke, but you know what? I just went through a shitty fucking breakup and they are my get out of breakup free card. So I smoke during breakups. That's just my deal with cigarettes because they're a friend to me when I need them. And then I put them away, right? For me, that
Yeah,
works out. Not a lot of people can pick up cigarettes like I do and put them down again. It's just for me
right.
not as effortful to quit. But today's like day one again of going without it again. And I'm like, well, at least I can smoke weed because that oral fixation, that thing is still happening. So it's easier to quit one smoking when I can just fill it with the other smoking.
Right.
So
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, like so many people have so many little nuances with their fetishes. That's another thing that I've learned. Smoking fetish, some guys are like you said, the cigarette holder.
yeah.
Use your cigarette holder. Some of them want you to wear rubber gloves, like the kitchen rubber
Yeah.
glove. Um, some of them want red lipstick
Yeah.
and want to see, red lipstick stain on the end of the cigarette butt. That does it for them. Some of them want to watch you crush it out with your heel. You know, just lots of different nuances. I did learn through this though too that there are some people out there whose kink is actually eating the ashes and butts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't either. And I've actually had a couple people offer to be my ashtray.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah, they're like, please, can I be your ashtray? I would love to eat your ashes. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Like, so I had to research this, right? And I'm looking to see like what that does to your body,
right.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Um, but I even had one guy send me pictures um, and offer me money to have me and my smoking girlfriends, put a little smoking party together. And he had like the pictures he sent had like a table with a hole cut out of it, and you could see his mouth in the middle of the hole, like up to the bottom of the hole. And he would just sit there and let his girlfriends all smoke around him. I'm like, okay, I don't know that I could do that personally,
Yeah.
but you know,
Fascinating.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, I've learned stuff about that. I've learned men can squirt. Yes, I totally doubted that when someone told me that. I'm like, no way. But they can. So that was kind of interesting.
How do you know? Did someone do it? Did someone just like call in and share their story? Like,
I had done a squirting video um, about women squirting and if
mhm.
it was real. And I had two guys send me emails saying, yeah, men squirt too. I've done it. And I thought, no way, you know? And the one guy sent me a link to a Pornhub video that showed a man squirting. And I'm like, no way, get out of here.
Wow. So
Uh,
not,
yeah,
not immaculate, but squirt.
yes, yes. And it has to do with like rectal stimulation. From what I researched after that, because I'm big on digging into things I don't know about.
Yeah.
I'll start looking everywhere to find out. That was kind of interesting.
I like the
Yeah.
smoking the fetish because like I film some femdom role play
Mhm.
ASMR stuff. So I have a fan page and I like to go there where I, get in kind of character, I channel it. And sometimes I just need that cigarette to be part of my character, right? And so it's like
Yeah.
I totally know what it does for something or some energy. And
Hmm.
yeah, no, I think it's something really erotic about smoking. I just didn't know. I've never gone down the rabbit hole of fetish, and that's fascinating because just somebody wanting to see the red lipstick and then smushed between your feet. And then it surprises me that people want to eat the ashes, but it also doesn't after like it did for about a hot 20 seconds because then people on my fan page also wanted to buy my used pennies, people want to buy other things too that I didn't want to sell, but it was like they just wanted a piece of me and any
Hmm.
way they can have it and or something like that. And so when you understand someone just wants to consume something of yours, take it
Yes.
into their body. It doesn't, it's a vehicle for the energy, or that's my belief, versus the actual want of that specific item, maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm a little
Yeah.
high.
No, no, you're fine. Makes sense. Yeah, I've had people ask me for my cigarette butts
Hmm.
to send them my cigarette butts. I have not done that yet. I
What a
don't know
way to
that I
make some
will.
money.
What's
Okay.
that?
What a way to make some money.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll take it. Who
Uh,
wants to buy my cigarette butt? I'll save them. I will. I'll put them in
There
a
you go.
little Ziploc and
There you
I'll
go.
FedEx them somewhere. But the thing is, if I had a crush, like I remember when you get like big crushes on celebrities, I would like want to
Mhm.
breathe the air they breathed. And like if they had dropped like half a donut, I might go pick it up and like just to see what. Not because I want
Right,
germs of anyone, but their germs, right? Their germs are
right.
different than anyone else's germs. So I can see if you idealize someone, and you can't get more of them, then you would want
Mhm.
like that. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Yes, it's very interesting. It's been an interesting road for sure.
I've been involved in a lot of threesomes and foursomes or whatever, and
Hmm.
some had humiliation, but I didn't know it was between two partners, established partners, and she basically would step on him on the floor with her heels on and be like,
Hmm.
"Oh, be a good boy down there," and like she would start talking, and we were all just like watching along because we don't know what is this guy
Right,
allowing, what
right.
is he not. And then, you have to be careful with how you humiliate. I never wanted to hit him as hard as he wanted or put my own heel on him as hard as he wanted. This guy wanted to be stepped on. He wanted us, me and his hot, sexy girlfriend, to be in our heels or boots and literally just put almost like we're putting cigarettes out on him with our shoes.
Hmm.
He fucking got so hard. So hard. And so there's so much in there in the
Hmm.
world of arousal that when you really open the door and allow yourself to figure it out, what is it? What is that scenario? What is it that makes you tingle in your body? It could be different
Right.
for everybody, but it's so fun to explore and you will allow yourself
Yeah.
to explore, right?
Yeah, there are so many nuances to any of these lifestyles that, it's
Yeah.
very personalized to say the least. And I found out too that I thought it was interesting with like the cuckolding stag vixen sort of situation. A lot of times, and this probably holds true for BDSM too, from the psychological point of view, a lot of times men in like high powered positions, really stressful positions where they always have to be in control and be on top of their game, engage in that kind of a lifestyle because it's a release for them. They
Yes.
don't have to be in control. It's a way for them to be out of control, so to speak. So,
Way back when I studied in a textbook and got the same answer, right? It was
mhm,
probably because people were in high powered, stressful positions that wanted to temporarily escape the responsibilities and stresses and roles and,
right.
of life. And now, fast forward, I am an orgy director at a sex club. So I help my friends mostly. It's all for free, but I basically help them fulfill their fantasies by finding out what their fantasies are, helping curate the men, and running the scene, right? So I have
Mhm,
had a few experiences now, and all the women I've met who want to have a gangbang and have all these men on them and all, they have stressful jobs. Everybody wants something from, and they want to be able to disappear for a bit in this experience.
mhm.
And it's funny to see it firsthand that everybody needs a break of
Yeah,
the burden of the masks they wear. And I don't mean masks as artificial. Everyone has masks to wear in life,
sure.
right? But the
Mhm,
burden of always being the one in charge, always being the dominant, always being the one that everyone looks to solve problems. Well, if you could suddenly go and be a submissive for someone and suddenly you hand them the keys to the, paradise, and suddenly
right.
I remember, so I'm a women's studies major and psychology major. I've been very much into women's empowerment and all of that. I was
Mhm,
feminist, I don't go by that term on my channel a lot because I know what it does to the dick, frankly. So I try to, like, rebrand.
mhm.
But
Yeah,
the truth is, I didn't know you could submit and be equal, and you absolutely can. And I love submission now. I love wearing a collar with certain, like, dominance that
mhm,
I'm with, that allow me as a very alpha female, a very dominant, person in life normally, for those times. Like, now I'm doing it, even though I was like, oh, that's for the other people to do. I studied it in books. Now it's me who doesn't want to always lead.
mhm.
So sexy to just be told what to do sometimes. I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
have you ever heard of ambition kink?
Ambition kink. No.
People who need to be, like, given a task to do, and then they need to work hard and then achieve it, and then you tell them they did a great job, and then they get really aroused.
Really?
Totally, yeah. You know how
Interesting.
hard we work for those gold stars in school. Like, you say,
No kidding.
right, to someone who has an ambition, can you see their eyes light up when they're given a challenge, right? And
Uh-huh.
I love it. As a bit of a femdom, I like to encourage any of the like, guys who have submission with me to get a lot out of it, right? I want them to enjoy their experience, not, get something really, like, rich out of it. And so I can make them feel like they won me over when it wasn't easy, right? And, like, and then they get the
Right.
feeling of getting the girl who was not going to give it to them, but then they earned it. Wank, wank, wank,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
There's so much nuance in arousal, and I feel like I cut you off, and that's because I
Oh
spoke
no,
loud for
you're
you. But
fine.
so, do you want to list your website and your fan page so that at least the audio listeners can get it?
Oh yeah. My YouTube channel is at Fet Talk, FETTALK, or Abby Haute, HAUTE. Um, I do have a Pornhub website that is Haute MILF. You can find me on that. You can find me on OnlyFans. I do have an OnlyFans page that's at Abby Haute. And um, yeah, I have clips for sale if you don't want to go the OnlyFans route. You can do that too. Just look for Abby Haute.
Perfect. So, TorontoUnicorn.com is where you can get all the links to my podcast, my journal, everything else, my Amazon storefronts. I also have, my podcasts are my future. That's where I can talk uncensored, right? So that's the future for
Mhm.
me. I do have a fan page where I do chat with fans, give advice, and do sell some of my racy videos there. So that's on onlyfans.com/TorontoUnicorn. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me and sitting
Thank
and having a smoke. It's
you.
nice to smoke while I hang out on my and chat because it feels more natural for me to smoke when I want to deep chat, right? So
Right. Yes. Thank you for doing this with me. I was so excited. I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if she's going to respond. And then you responded, and I'm like, oh,
I
and I
don't
told
respond
my
to
husband,
everyone.
I'm like,
I check out the shit first. I see, do I want to be associated? Is it somebody who is a similar vibe?
right.
So thank you for providing enough information so that I could peek at you and be like, oh yes, okay, right? So good job on
Yeah.
giving me your the name of your YouTube channel because some people don't think to do that. They're like, if she responds, I'll give her my YouTube. I'm like, no. So yeah, no, I really loved
Yeah.
the cross collab. It's always fun to get different voices out there. So
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you. This was fun. Maybe
um,
we'll have to do this again.
absolutely,
Smoke.
maybe people could put a topic request for us to specifically chat about.
Oh, yeah, that would be good. That's a
Awesome.
great idea. I'll throw that out there.
Awesome.
I'm like, you are grown, excuse my mouth, grown ass women, and you are behaving this way. And
Yeah.
you're in a swinger situation setting. What is wrong with you? You should be embarrassed for yourself to be acting this way.
Right.
And like you said, if anyone in that room had a right to be jealous, it would have been me. And I just watching like, is this really, I feel like I'm in high school again, you
Yeah.
know?